If you will suck my soul, I will lick your funky emotions. Hey, baby, hey. Hey, man, I had some thing last night. Foxx. So, man, it was strange. They used to do Tyson, blue hair. Yeah, hey, baby, what's your thing? What say we touch each other? Mess around and get a thing going on.
What up, everybody? I'm gonna be honest. The only reason why I played that is because the little, if you got it in the very, very beginning, he says, "If you will suck my soul, I will tickle your funky emotions." I just thought it was one of the funniest lines to start a song off with. Hey, how's it going? Actual facts. Brian Harkin, the Boxing Lounge. Yeah. Yeah, we back, baby. Yeah, we back. Yeah. I'm not back editing yet just because, I still got that issue with my phone. But as soon as I get that stuff sorted out, I'm gonna be back to editing. For right now, I'm just doing these lives. Hold on a sec. My girlfriend's calling me. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What up, plant-based boxing? Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I if my girlfriend calls me, I gotta make sure that it's not something important, which it is. It was important, but it's um not really something that we could really do anything about right now. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to like get off the rails too much today, like I did yesterday. That's why this one is titled Actual Boxing Talk. Because yesterday I probably spent all of 5 minutes talking about Shakur Stevenson and Jamel Herring, and I spent the rest of the time talking about work, talking about VPNs and doxing and all that stuff, which is fine. There are people who don't know what doxing is, and there was an individual in the chat who by the name of John Boxing, not to get mixed up with the other John Boxing that is known in the community. This John Boxing was different. It was JON Boxing, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same person. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to get too off of boxing today because if I put boxing in the title, I want it, or whatever I put in the title, I do want that to be the main focus, and that's not what happened yesterday. In fact, I think later I'm gonna go and change the name of that live, because anybody who goes in and listens to the playback, they're gonna be kind of disappointed. So I don't want to like do that too much. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go and change that. In fact, shout out to Boxing After Dark and Nocturnal Thoughts. He left me a comment on that live saying I listened to the whole live, wasn't a whole lot of boxing. He's like, I still learned though, which is good, but I need to update that title. So, but anyways, hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm having a good day so far. You know, not a whole lot going on. Just different shit or same shit, different day. Sorry, I almost got it all mixed up. But anyways, do get a little something to talk about. I'm seeing a lot of talk about Anthony Joshua. Being that I'm an Anthony Joshua fan, I wanted to chime in on this. So, Anthony Joshua, to me, seems like he's kind of listening to the community, because a lot of what has been being said since his second loss to Usyk, his second loss, which is his first loss to Usyk, um, there's one thing that I'm hearing a lot of people say: he doesn't have the killer instinct, and I'm not sure that's necessarily like 100% true, but there is at least a certain lack of urgency. So I'm on the wrong side of the street. Hey, what up, Lebanon Hebrew? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Once you came to once you visited the UGC, you found out about me. You've done nothing but show me love. So much respect. Much respect. Boxing Lounge. What do you mean by I'm on the wrong side of the street? um, I'm trying to see if I can find these quotes real quick. I probably should have looked that up before I started this live. Damn, apparently he said fuck Bob Arum. I didn't I don't know. Why is nobody talking about this? Yeah, so apparently he said fuck Bob Arum. Um and I'm only assuming that Bob Arum probably had some not so positive things to say about Anthony Joshua after his loss to Usyk. So, because that's what Bob does, Bob, when if unless your name is Canelo, for whatever reason, he doesn't have a problem with Canelo. But when it comes to anybody else, if you're not signed with Bob, he's gonna talk shit about you, especially if you're like a rival. So like Anthony Joshua, he's with Matchroom, and he was the unified heavyweight champion. A lot of people did perceive him to be the number one heavyweight. So Bob having, an investment in Tyson Fury, he's going to try to steal that shine away as much as possible. Because the reality is this: even after losing to Usyk, AJ is probably still he might even make even more money in the rematch than he did in the first fight, and he's making more money than Tyson Fury. So I'm pretty sure I haven't looked into it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Bob said you know, some anti Anthony Joshua comments. He's done it. He's been doing it for a while, but now he has like another reason to. So, like I said, I haven't looked into it, but I'm pretty sure Bob has probably said some shit, and Anthony Joshua was like, "Fuck Bob Arum." That is my uh, that's my theory. And I'm sticking to it. Let's take a look. Manny Pacquiao is the GOAT. Bob wants to sign Canelo. That's why. Yeah, I believe that. Fabio Woodley, lads. Hey, what up, Fabio? What up, Boxing Guy 7? Jeff Lucita. Your guys beltless now. Oh, Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm a AJ fan, but yeah, he is beltless right now. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know that he can get those belts back, but we'll see. We'll see. A lot of people doubted him in the Andy Ruiz rematch, and he showed them that he could get his belts back. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a different situation. I don't know that he can, because I didn't doubt him in the rematch against Ruiz, whereas I doubt the hell out of him in this one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anthony Joshua has shown that he can adjust to new training fairly quickly. Um, I know Tony's reviews have been saying, it's not a good idea, and I understand Andy Ruiz is different from Usyk, but still, like, I mean, I don't think doubling down on McCracken is really going to benefit him. He has to try something. Wayne Gretzky, he had a saying that was I'm probably paraphrasing it, but it goes something like this: you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. But even though like he's taking the shot, like activating the rematch clause, he's he's got to try something different, because he's pretty much doomed to fail if he just stays with McCracken. If he fails with somebody else, at least he tried something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So he's trying to do something different. I'm trying to find these other quotes. It does sound like he's trying to sound more aggressive because he said, "I'm coming for the belts, boy." Um, Somebody's gonna let his hands go. I'm not really seeing the other quotes. Hold on. Anthony Joshua bluntly told his problem is himself. Yeah, I mean, and that's where I can respect Anthony Joshua. See, when Deontay Wilder loses, it's everybody else. It's the ref. It's gloves were loaded. His own trainer, poisoned him. It's everybody but himself. Whereas Anthony Joshua was willing to say, "It's me. I'm the guy who lost. I'm the guy who came short." Now, not to say that doesn't mean he doesn't need to make changes in his camp, but he doesn't go. He's not saying McCracken poisoned him. He's just saying, this is probably where we need to part ways. And from what I understand, he's not even firing him. He's just looking to add somebody to the team. And if McCracken, if I guess he's like not going to be the head trainer anymore. Whoever he adds to the team will be whoever that ends up being. And then at that point, McCracken is free to do what he wants. So if he wants to stay on the team, he can. If he feels that he has overstayed his welcome and it's time for him to part ways, he can do that with no hard feelings. Let me take a look at the chat real quick because I don't like to not respond to y'all for too long. Should take Fury as coach. Fury would train him to that makes it even funnier. You talking about Tyson Fury? You talking about his dad? It's the gypsy magic excuses. Plants are not food. Oh man. We're not gonna get into that. I did a stream, which I actually enjoyed that stream where I talked about these plant-based wings that I ate. And one of my good friends was disappointed in me. Anyways, let's get back to the boxing. So the quote that I'm having, hold on, let me look a little bit more. If I can't find it, I'm just gonna tell y'all. Hold on. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua still makes sense. Yeah, it does. If we'll see what happens, but I don't, Anthony Joshua tells Mike Tyson former coach to turn him into a dog forever. See, when he says stuff like that, Anthony Joshua tells Mike Tyson's former coach to turn him into a dog for our Alexander Usyk rematch. To me, that says that he has heard what a lot of people in the YTVC are saying. This is from Independent. Let me see if I can, because I want to share my sources. I don't want to be a douchebag. Give me just a second. I'm gonna put the link. Y'all can read it for yourself. Um, but it's from Independent. Well, I gotta get to my live because I can't do it from here. Hold on. And that's not even the one I was looking for, but that is a quote that I definitely want to at least briefly touch on, highlight, because that is something that is being said. I wonder what AJ's burner account is. He might have a burner account. Like, I can't speak for a lot of these other, these other boxers, but definitely in the heavyweight division, these guys have pretty much proven that they listen to us. Like they may not listen to what we say, like if we say, "Oh, I think this guy should do this or he should do that," they don't listen. They don't like follow directions, but they do listen to see what we're saying. Um, so that definitely goes on in the heavyweight division because you see what happened with Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua is starting to show things. I'm pretty sure Tyson Fury has listened to a lot of what a lot of us have to say about him, but he's just smart enough not to make it obvious. Tyson Fury, he's very smart. Like, you got to give it to him, whether you love him, hate him, or whatever. You got to give it to him. He's very smart. Um, but yeah, that's the link if any of you wanna go check it out. But the other thing that I'm seeing that he said is that he said he's done losing, and I think that's the right attitude. Uh, just AJ, understand, as long as you're fighting the best competition, losses are most likely bound to happen. Obviously, there are exceptions, but you know, like have that drive and that thought. But like you lose again, don't. And I'm not even talking about just the Usyk, just anybody else. Like, don't let it discourage you too much. Don't let it weigh too heavily on your psyche and on your mental health because, like, AJ, the reason why I like AJ so much is just because his ability. He went and he unified three belts in a relatively short amount of time. You know, and he didn't even have that many fights. It was like before he had 20 fights, he was already you know champion, and he was already starting to unify belts. And Deontay Wilder, he has his accomplishments. I'm not gonna take away from him. The 10 title defenses and all that good stuff. And the knockouts and all that. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But at 33 fights, he became champion, and his team had no interest in having him unify. In fact, that would have been undisputed. You know, um, and he Like I understand that's his team, but I don't remember any kind of urgency coming from him saying, "Okay, I understand what my team is saying, but I think I am ready." You know what I'm saying for Klitschko. So I mean, it's just that's why I like AJ so much. You know, like after Fury retired or whatever, or was suspended, or what do you want to call it? You know, AJ had to go get those three belts together, and a lot of people don't want to give him credit because in one case it was a vacant belt. He beat Klitschko for that vacant belt. Another case he beat Charles Martin, who was relatively unproven. And for those of you who don't remember, the way that Charles Martin won the IBF title was because his opponent ended up uh, breaking his foot, or he had a foot injury early in the fight. In fact, there was people saying that that should have been ruled a no contest, but instead they ruled it a TKO win for uh, for Martin. So the fashion that he won the IBF belt, and then if I'm not mistaken, AJ was his next fight. He was relatively unproven. It's not like he won the belt under those circumstances, but then he had like some crazy good defenses and proved himself. So I can definitely understand some of the criticisms, but here's the thing: belts become vacant and get picked up by lesser opposition all the time. It's part of the sport. It's part of history. All right. So I understand where that can be a criticism, but I think people put way too much emphasis on that because the reality is this: Deontay Wilder, he got his belt off of beating Bermain Stavern, who really, in all honesty, should have been champion, but he won the vacant belt. The belt was vacant. He fought Chris Arreola, and then he became champion. I mean, that's how it happened. So, I mean, if you're gonna put that much emphasis on it when it comes to Anthony Joshua, it's only fair that you have the same vigor on Deontay Wilder because he did the same thing. For being honest, I mean, is Bermain Stavern really better than Charles Martin? Probably not. Probably not. Um, is is damn it, what's his name? Areola. Is Areola really better than Glasgow? Who Charles Martin beat, and like I said about the foot injury and all that. Probably not. Maybe there's a better chance that Areola is better than Glasgow than there is of Bermain Stavern being better than Martin. But uh, but yeah, I just I don't get it with some of these fans. Anyways, let me take a look at the chat real quick because I've been rambling for a little bit. What up, Hawker Mustang? What up, 1-2 Kid? AJ don't make Brazil his trainer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Please don't do that. Do my AJ. I don't understand. I don't understand your question, Fabio. If you could please elaborate. Appreciate that, Lebanon. Yeah. I mean, the reality is this. They're gonna come online eventually, but I think definitely in the heavyweight division, they pay more attention to us than the rest of the divisions, in my opinion. I'm I mean, we know for a fact the Lopez camp does and the Haney camp. They're literally part of the community at this point. Um, But in a lot of other cases, it's like secondhand or not secondhand. That sounds. I think I'm downplaying a little bit too much by saying secondhand. But like, I've never seen Breland like actually interact with the community, but his son definitely has. And I'm pretty sure that being his son, I mean, some of that has to get back to. That's why I kind of call it secondhand. Um, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that gets back to his father. But by no means am I like trying to disrespect Breland's son by calling it secondhand. That's not what I'm. I don't mean it in that sense. Um, but yeah. Oh, do a AJ impersonation. I'm not really the best at impersonations. Actual facts is wonderful at it. I'll let me see if I can give it a shot though. All right. Well, hold on. Let me take a look at some of these other comments real quick. Vladimir would have fought Wilder for that WBC belt when it became vacant, but boxing is a rigged game. Earn with the I give AJ credit for his resume. AJ was taking on good opponents. Wilder was much more protected. He fought can after can. Yeah, he definitely fought a lot more lesser opposition. Um, 10 defenses sounds good, and it is an accomplishment. I don't really want to take away from that, but you have to put in perspective when you want to act like that's better. That's the best thing that anybody's done in the heavyweight division today. Now, a lot of those fans they've had to come to grips with the fact that Fury has beat Wilder twice now. A lot of people say three times, but I'm gonna keep it consistent. On paper, he's beat him twice. Whether you feel that he was robbed, that Fury was robbed in the first fight or not, I get it. Please understand, there's Wilder fans who are making the same argument in favor of Wilder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at that. But they've they pretty much have been forced to come to grips with reality. Some of them are still hanging on to stupid shit like long counts and all that. But but and a lot of them don't even know the rules on the counting. But yeah, so being that they're having to, a lot of them are accepting Wilder's defeat finally, because they still want to make Wilder out to be that he was the number one guy till he got beat. They're saying that Fury is the number one guy now, which is fair. I'm gonna keep it real. That is fair. If you feel that this guy is number one and he loses to this guy, to me it makes sense. So I don't have a problem with that. My problem is when we get down to the details as to why Wilder was the number one guy. That's where I start having issues a lot of times. Draw was fair. I mean, Lebanon, he made. I think it was Lebanon who said this. You could correct me if I'm wrong, Lebanon, but I think you said something along the lines of the man was able to get two knockdowns and still ended, and he was the champ, and the fight still came out a draw. So, like, that kind of says something about Wilder's his skill and all that. But yeah, I do think that AJ he's definitely trying to have a different frame of mind, saying that he doesn't want to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. He's saying that saying shit like "fuck Bob Arum." He's saying things like, "I'm done losing," and that is good to a point, but you also got to stay like true to yourself. And I'm not saying that AJ's being fake. I mean, a lot of people forget AJ actually has a record, like a criminal record. And I'm not saying that to put AJ down. I'm just saying AJ definitely has um something in him. But the other thing is people change over time. I mean, that was before he became a professional boxer. If I'm not mistaken, he got into boxing to help himself stay out of trouble. But people change, and I mean, making 20 to 80 million dollar paydays, that's gonna change you. So I don't know that he's necessarily has that in him anymore. But he may. I don't know. Only AJ truly knows that. And who knows? Maybe that second loss really pissed him off, and that really ignited something. That's a possibility, but it's also very possible that he's just trying to psych himself up. I don't think it's a show. I think he legitimately has heard the criticisms, and he's like, you know what? I'm the problem. Everybody is right, and I need to change something, and I think that's what he's trying to do. So we'll see. He's trying something. He's not blaming it on stupid shit. He's blaming it on himself, and he's trying to make the changes. Whether or not those are the appropriate changes remains to be seen. But the reality is this: all right, this is the heavyweight division. I don't give AJ zero chance to beat Usyk. I just give him very little chance. All right, it's the heavyweight division. One punch can change everything. It's happened to AJ himself, and AJ has done it to others. He wasn't looking too hot against uh, Povetkin until he landed a shot of his own that really changed the way that fight was going. And he ended up uh, knocking him out. In fact, I think he was the first person to knock out Povetkin. I don't think Povetkin had ever been knocked out up to that point. So and it happened to AJ with that Ruiz fight. I feel AJ was winning, and he even knocked down Ruiz first. But like I said, one punch can really change the way a fight is going, and that's true more so in the heavyweight division than any other division. It's really true in any division, but especially the heavyweight division because of the size of these guys. Um, it's definitely possible. But if I had to put money on one of these two guys, my money's gonna go on Usyk. That I just think he has. I think he has AJ's number. AJ's gonna have to dig real deep, and he's gonna have to make the flawless changes. Is what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to change everything the right way in order to pull that off. All right, unless Usyk really has an off night in the rematch. I mean, Usyk is not like Ruiz, where he's already been undisputed once before, so it's not like Ruiz, who had never even been champion before, now all of a sudden he's unified champion, feels like he's on top of the world, feels like he's calling the shots now. Usyk, he's always had that drive, he's always had that hunger, and he's been there before. And he's beat damn near everybody else in their own backyard. Can't say the same thing for Ruiz. So yeah, very different monster that we're dealing with in this rematch. AJ got dog on him, just not the dog eat dog. We'll see. Where's AJ got get Usyk on the back foot, push him. Yeah, he's gonna have to do something, and that may work. That may be one of the keys to victory. I think he's gonna have to do more than just that, but that's definitely a good start, and I think that'll definitely give him more of a chance to win. but I think he's gonna have to change a couple other things on top of that. AJ needs Canelo's mindset, kind of. He needs his mindset in the fight for sure, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too much into Canelo right now. Um, I'm gonna try to do the AJ. I don't think I could do AJ. let me think. Let me think. AJ is just like real reserved. I'm trying to think of how I would do an impersonation of him. Cause he's like really reserved, but he's really nice. He's just like, um, oh yeah, he's going to talk the shit. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do AJ. I was like thinking of like his interview that he did after he beat Johnson. Forget the guy's first name. One of his first fights, he like destroyed him in 2 rounds. And apparently Johnson was talking a whole gang of shit leading up to the fight. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's supposed to do that. But I can't really imitate AJ. First off, I can't do an English accent, right? There are Americans who can do a pretty damn good job, but I'm not one of them. That's not an accent that I could pull off. Now, I will say this. This is completely off topic. I'm going to get back to the boxing. I'm not going to stay too long on this, but the other night, me and my girlfriend watched Free Guy. If you haven't seen that movie, if you like to laugh, especially if you're into gaming and pop culture, even if you're not into gaming, this movie I think would be enjoyable. But Free Guy is a pretty good movie. But the reason why I'm bringing up Free Guy is because there's a chick in the movie that in a lot of the in the movie there's like this game. I don't want to get too far into it, but I feel like I have to give some context here. There's like a game that everybody plays online, and every time she's in the game she talks with like a UK accent, an English accent. But when she's in the real world, not on the game, she talks like a normal American. And when I was watching this movie, I'm like, oh, she has a pretty good English, she does a good English accent. Not realizing that she's from fucking the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Her American accent was so good that I thought she was American because I never seen her in a movie before. But yeah, if you haven't seen Free Guy, like I said, if you like movies, if you like comedies, Ryan Reynolds is the main guy in the movie, so that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of movie it is. But definitely check it out. There's some scene. There's one scene in particular that when I saw it, I was like, this is ridiculously amazing. Like this one particular scene, that's all I'm gonna say because you gotta watch it for yourself in order to get that full impact. I watched it, me and my girlfriend were like, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. And the scene is on YouTube. I'm not gonna tell you, but I remember I went just to watch that one scene on YouTube. And I looked through the comments, and people were like, everybody in the movie theater was standing on their feet. And I'm like, I wish I would have seen this movie in the movie theaters. Uh, so, yeah, if you haven't seen Free Guy, check it out. It's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It, and here's the thing, Lebanon, it's not just that it's a hard accent for me to pull off. It's also AJ's demeanor, how he talks. Um, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. And the fact that I can't do an English accent anyways makes it that much harder. What up, Nordic Warrior? Yeah, AJ's not a disgrace. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if if he loses if he loses to Usyk again, which I think he will. I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, he was a hype job," but I don't think he's a hype job. Now, was he maybe a little overhyped? Yeah. Then I'll be the first to admit he was a little overhyped if that's the case. And I'm thinking that already now because in my mind, I don't think he's gonna beat Usyk. But there's people who want to call him a straight up hype job, and I'm sorry, that's just not correct in my opinion. You know, because the reality is AJ has beat top 10 opposition. Um, and this is just my opinion, but I think Wilder is much more of a hype job than AJ because Wilder's best win is Luis Ortiz. And I'm not saying Luis Ortiz is a bad win, but when you really look at what Luis Ortiz is, he's not as great as a lot of people. Like there was people literally saying that Wilder was number one, Ortiz was number two, and AJ was number three. And I'm like, what? Who did Ortiz beat that's better than Klitschko, Joseph, um, even better than the. I don't even. I mean, I think he would destroy Charles Martin, but I don't think he has beat anybody like his because his best win is Brian Jennings. I don't think Jennings is better than Charles Martin. I could be wrong, but I don't think he is. So that's why I said. Like a lot of people, I try to remove as much emotion as I can. And when I do have, when I do have a dog in the fight, I try to let you guys know. That way you understand what perspective you're actually getting. Like if I'm talking on the AJ versus Wilder negotiation, I think it's very important that you understand that I am an AJ fan. That way you understand, take what I got to say with a grain of salt. I Let me get something straight. I don't ever want anybody to come to my channel thinking that what I say is gospel. Hold on a sec. All right. I just had to check on something. So my apologies. But what up, Eat a Peach? Eat a Peach. I don't remember what he said, what Larry Merchant said. If you can go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll oh I think I I think you just posted it. I'll talk about that in a minute. I do remember when he said that. So um but what I was saying before I had to step away for a second I don't want you guys. I don't want any of you guys to come to my channel and treat what I say as gospel. All right. When it comes to my opinion, take it with a grain of salt. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a dude talking about another dude trying to knock the head off another dude. So it's just my opinion. Most of what I say is just my opinion. I do bring up some facts, and I try to articulate things in a way where you understand where I'm coming from. But at the end of the day, like if I have a dog in the fight, you deserve to know. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be coming on here acting like there's not any kind of like I'm just gonna keep using AJ as an example because that's what I'm talking about. When it comes to all situations considering AJ, I it would be wrong of me to talk about it and not let you know that there's not some kind of a pro AJ thought process happening in my head. I'm not trying to push an agenda, but naturally that is what's going to happen. I'm going to have a pro AJ thought process going on in my head. And I still try to keep it real. There's people who will tell you that their favorite guy was robbed, and there's one guy who I haven't seen him in a while, and I think he like raced all his videos and stuff. But a lot of you know who I'm talking about. There's a guy who was running around for a while talking about that Danny Garcia was still undefeated. And he had like all his scorecards memorized and all this stuff. I don't ever want to be that. I never ever want to be that. All right. I want to try to keep it real. If I think my guy has a chance to win in a rematch where he lost to the guy in the first time, I'm gonna let you know. But when I don't think that he does, like when I think I mean, they always have at least a puncher's chance, usually. But if I think the chances are slim, even if that's my guy, I'm gonna try my best to say it, even though it might hurt a little bit. No, it doesn't hurt. Like, and that's the other thing. I'm not like AJ's my guy, right? But I'm not emotionally invested in him. Like, AJ doesn't know that I exist. He, and I'm not gonna go like too far in defending him. Like if somebody comes at me, I'm not just gonna just say, "Oh, well, you're right." I'm gonna debate a little bit, and debates can be fun if I'm being honest. But yeah. Anyways, let me take a look at some of these. All right, so yeah, so this is what Eda Peach was talking about. Wilder was the last Black American heavyweight hope. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. All right, I don't think Larry Merchant meant it the way it came out. Um, but especially in today's environment, it's probably just not a good idea to say stuff like that. First off, me personally, I just think we need to remove race from the boxing conversation altogether, which is hard because all these guys come down to the ring with their flags, all of them. When I say all of them, obviously I don't mean 100% of them, but a large percentage of these boxers, men and women, they come when they're coming down, they got somebody walking behind them holding a big ass flag of whatever they represent. So I get that it's very difficult to remove race and nationality and tribalism from the equation when it's so ingrained in the sport, but I really wish that we could because it just creates a very toxic environment. Um, so if I was Larry Merchant, what I would have said is, um, I would have just said the last American heavyweight hope. That's what I would have said. Even though, now, granted, I would never say that even. And the reason why is because there's always, this is a revolving. This sport has revolving talent. This sport is not like other sport. A lot of other sports where there's a season. Boxing happens all year. All year round. And I understand that's just how combat sports are. But and the talent pool is forever revolving. You got guys who are on their way out, you got guys on the way in, you know. And like a lot of people are talking about Big Baby Anderson. So it makes you look like a fool when you say something like that. And then you got Big Baby Anderson who, like, let's say he comes in and he becomes undisputed champion later on down the line. Well, now you look like an idiot. It. So I would have never even said that. But if you were going to say something along those lines, just leave race out of it. We don't. It's something that it is not needed. Okay, it is not needed. Um, I understand. Like we're kind of used to describing people by their skin color a lot of times, and there are cases where it's appropriate. Okay, if somebody robs you and that person just so happened to be white, or they had tan skin, or they had black skin, what's considered black, um, then you use it as a description to hopefully get some justice later on down the road. That makes sense. But when we're talking about boxing, there's really no reason to talk about somebody's skin color. Now, I can understand like in unless it has like some kind of historical significance, like Jack Johnson, I have no problem with people bringing up the fact that he's black because of the time period that he came up in and the shit that he had to deal with in order to become the first African American heavyweight champion. It makes sense to bring that up in that context. However, I can't really think of any real justification to mention Wilder's skin color in Larry Merchant. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really believe in the cancel culture, but you have to realize that is the thing that exists. And if you say statements like this, you run. I don't see anybody talk. I never seen a hashtag cancel Larry Merchant. But you're going to get backlash for saying such statements. That's just the way that it is. So, let me take a look here. Yeah, I think Jeff when he was asking the question, when Eda Peach was asking the question, I thought for sure that was the quote he was bringing up, and luckily for Larry Merchant, he has that quote. I think more people remember that quote than remember what he said about Wilder. But now that he brought it up, yeah, I do remember him getting a lot of flack for it. And I mean, it just is what it is. Take a look here. Plant based is trolling in a good way. I don't mind. There's acceptable trolling. That's acceptable. That's factual facts. All right, hold on. Just trying to get down to these more recent ones now. What up, Bruce Goes? Hope you're doing well today. Hope your dog is doing well. Hope your girlfriend's doing well. Holmes is overrated. Poor era. Took him 10 rounds to beat Parkinson's Ali. Holmes fanboys talk some crap. I mean, there's some truth to that, Fabio. But I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I think you do have to keep this in mind. You know, The younger guys beating the older guys. It's also been a part of. Like I just mentioned, it's a revolving door of talent consistently. There's going to be guys that a lot of us saw on their way in, and later we'll see them on their way out, and that's just the reality of the sport. That happened with Holmes. You know, he beat that version of Ali that you mentioned, but guess what? Then he got beat by Mike Tyson when he was old. And it's part of the sport. So I try not to harp too much on that, but I understand what you're saying. He probably gets a bit too much praise for it. Um, but I think Larry Holmes, I mean, in my opinion, he's greater than a lot of the guys we have today. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. Man, David Price really was the chinless wonder. He was a scouser too. Tough people. I'm surprised he did not have a chin like steel. The girl from Free Guy is a scouser also. What's a scouser? I'm not familiar with that. I forget where she's from. I want to say she's from somewhere in the UK. I just don't remember where she's from exactly, but I know she's from somewhere across the pond, and her American accent was so good. I thought she was an American in this movie who was doing a UK accent whenever she was in the gaming world, but it turns out she's really not from America. Liverpool. That is it. Yeah, she's from Liverpool. Yeah, which is in the UK. So yeah. Yeah, and the thing about Price is that he's well, first off, is he retired? I'm gonna look that up. While I'm looking that up, he is the definition of a glass cannon. Now, when I say glass cannon, the glass part pretty spot on. Cannon, somewhat of I'm using that somewhat loosely, but he did have power. And I'm talking like he's retired, and I don't even know yet. Hold on, David Price, is he retired? I'll never forget that interview where there's an interview with Tyson Fury where he's like calling out David Price, and it's one of the funniest interviews that I've seen. I might play the clip. I'm getting some kind of a baseball player. Hold on, boxer. I guess he is retired. Hold on. He's also from Liverpool. Hold on. I'm trying to see if he's actually retired. That can't be right. Hold on. Says he's retired, but it says 2008. There's no way that that's right. He might be retired, but he definitely didn't retire in 2008. Let me see if I can find that that clip. Hold on. Let me take a look here real quick. Well, we know Slick Rick is from the UK. Another guy is the daddy's girl guy. He speaks American accent good, but from the UK. Oh, really? I didn't even know that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know like a whole lot about Slick Rick. I know he's known for like wearing the eye patch. No, he's a rapper. What up, Martin Ramos? If Price had a chin, he would have been a champion. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that to an extent. I can't put like all that on him, but especially in this era, there's a lot of young boxing fans who didn't even see Floyd box, but because they know his name, and then we live in this era of clout. Um, you just listen to some of these fans and the shit that they say in defense of their favorite boxer isn't even related to boxing, like related to stupid social media and related to the money and all that. That kind of tells you, a whole lot about like the mindset of a lot of these fans. And a lot of that is due to Floyd, but not all of it, in my opinion. I don't know. I honestly don't know. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip real quick. Because I don't think a lot of people, I mean, when I say a lot of people, I mean like a lot of the usuals in the community probably haven't seen this. And I'm not going to show you the clip, I'm just going to play the audio. But let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a funny interview. It was like ringside. Okay, I think I just found it. Okay, so this is I didn't even know this. This was at because I've only seen the clip of the interview, but this is after Price knocked out Audley Harrison.
Let's talk to the other big name, unbeaten heavyweight Tyson Fury for Joe Tiny. So what's the reaction to the price fight? To be honest, Harrison's the biggest bum inside boxing. And the reaction to David Price and Frank Maloney calling me out that midget, yeah? I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see, you plumber from Liverpool, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot. Okay, all right. Also, you're going to need 10 plumbers to do you when I've got finished with you. Also, you are getting it for sure. Call me out. Call me any names, and you are getting it. And you know your gay lover, Tony Bellew. I'll fight him in
Tyson Fury wanted to keep going. He did not want to. He had a whole lot more to say. I really wish that I apologize. I'm an uncultured swine American. So I don't know the name of that guy who was interviewing him, but I really wish he would have let Tyson Fury keep going. Because Tyson Fury, he was like livid, and I don't know why. I mean, he said it was personal, and some of y'all from the UK probably know, because I don't know the background between David Price and Tyson Fury, but I just thought it was so funny because the guy who's interviewing him, he tried to cut the interview, but then he ended up letting Tyson Fury say a little bit more, and then he cut him off. He was just like, "Okay, that's enough," because he just saw that Tyson Fury was just looking to talk shit. Yeah, he gives him that look. Oh man, I forgot how funny that clip is. If you haven't seen it, just look it up. It I what did I type? Tyson Fury calling out David Price. If you put that, it comes right up, and it's less than a minute. Actually, I played the longer clip because the clip I played it included a little bit from the right before they interviewed Tyson Fury, but there's one that's shorter, and I'm assuming that's just the beginning of Tyson Fury's rant to where he gets cut off. Okay, so he beat him as an amateur. Okay. Hey, how's it going, James Jameson? I didn't realize you were here. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So I'm getting some context here. Oh, really? Yeah, because for those who don't know, um, Price fought Povetkin, and he actually knocked down Povetkin, and then Povetkin knocked him out. So I think that's what Eda Peach is referring to, is that the fight would have, if that fight would have happened, which I'm sure everybody here knows, that fight almost did happen. But then the Meldonium thing happened. But he's saying that's what would have happened to Wilder, that he would have probably knocked down Povetkin, but then Povetkin would have knocked him out. And that's definitely a possibility. Despite what some extreme Wilder fanboys will tell you, that's probably accurate. And I say probably because we'll never know. The fight didn't happen. Um, I'm gonna do something real quick. It's gonna be less than a minute. Y'all just bear with me. You're gonna hear some silence. All right, I'm back, guys. Yeah, but I didn't know that. So that's what he meant by this is personal, because he kept them out of the Olympics. So yeah, that's good to know as far as the history, because I've seen that interview multiple times. Um, because I like comedy, and to me, that as short as that interview was, it was hilarious. Because, like I said, the shorter version is the shorter version is 37 seconds long, and like every second of that to me is hilarious, and the fact that the guy interviewing him like cuts him off twice. He tries to end it, and then for whatever reason he did. I think like Tyson Fury worked some kind of gypsy magic on him. I'm just kidding, but I guess he like led him to believe that he was gonna like kind of get back on track. But when he saw that all he was looking to do is talk more shit about David Price, he was just like, "All right, I gotta get going." Mm, Perfecting a shot when he knocked out Dylan White. Let's see. While we're at it, I might as well play the famous Larry Merchant one. See, when I think of Larry Merchant quotes, this is what I think of. Hold on. Why are these so long? It wasn't that. Hold on. Oh man. you gotta love the comedy and all this. Hold on. And it's I just hope that like the younger generation gets to witness moments like these live because like there ain't nothing because I remember this was right after the Ortiz fight when Floyd knocked out Ortiz. For those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows, but just in case anybody who didn't see that fight, basically Ortiz he did like a bucking bronco type of headbutt. Like this was the most blatant headbutt I've ever seen in a boxing match. So after he headbutt Floyd Mayweather, he uh he gets deducted points. So what not Luis Victor Ortiz does is he goes and he apologizes to Floyd Mayweather, which I think is understandable, but he kept apologizing. He even kissed fucking Floyd Mayweather on his cheek or on his head or something like that. He just wouldn't stop apologizing. But the ref already said, "All right, continue." So as he's like on his like fifth apology, Floyd Mayweather hits him with a shot that he didn't see coming, and we all heard it. Protect yourself at all times. And he knocked out. He didn't knock him out cold, but um, Ortiz didn't beat the count. He looked more shocked than anything that Floyd hit him, but it's like, bro, like you didn't have to like one apology would have sufficed in a fight. So but yeah, so Larry Merchant, he didn't really like how Floyd handled that situation apparently. And this is like the result of what happened.
What he did dirty or what I did dirty, I was victorious. If he want a rematch, he can get a rematch. You were in charge of the fight. You were aggressive and trying and taking advantage of what you know. You know what I'm gonna do? Because you don't ever give me a fair shake. You know that? So I'm gonna let you talk to Victor Ortiz. All right? I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? What are you talking? Heard him. You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You don't do shit.
The one of the funniest things, if you've never seen that interview, is when Floyd first starts going off on Larry. Larry does this thing where he looks at the camera real quick. You can find a GIF of this on Google easily, by the way. But his eyes go like real big. He's smiling, almost like he meant to do this, like he was trolling Floyd and he got the reaction he was looking for. It's hilarious. Victor ruined Expendables 3. You're probably right because I seen it and I don't remember it. Out of the three Expendable movies, three is the least memorable. I don't remember much from it. And All right. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and start from the beginning of what I was saying. Because I know we were all right. So we were talking about how Victor Ortiz. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right. So okay. So just to make sure that I cover everything. So Fabio, he made a statement saying that Victor Ortiz ruined uh, Expendables 3. I mentioned that he's probably right because I don't remember Expendables 3. I watched it, but it's the least memorable one out of the three movies. I also mentioned that I think Ronda Rousey was in that one, which wasn't really important. I just threw that in there. But anyways, I remember Victor Ortiz was in another movie. If I'm not mistaken, the name of the movie is Venice, and it stars Bruce Willis. And there's three actors that I remember being in that movie. Bruce Willis, obviously, because he's the star of that movie. Jason Momoa and Victor Ortiz. And Victor Ortiz was a very small part in the movie. He was basically just a random cholo in that movie. And Jason Momoa, believe it or not, was like the leader of that group of cholos. Like they weren't like a gang, but they were like, a group of dudes who you could tell like they're supposed to have each other's backs and stuff. So anyways, yeah, that's what I remember. um I think Victor Ortiz maybe had one line in that movie. Um Hold on. I'm just Googling it real quick. Once Upon a Time in Venice is the name of the movie. Um I'm gonna say, it's worth a watch, but don't like expect nothing too crazy. John Goodman's actually in it. I don't remember him being in it, but yeah, Victor Ortiz, Jason Momoa, David Arquette. Yeah, I'm seeing some names here, but for whatever reason, I don't remember them being in the movie. Christopher McDonald, which for those of you who don't know, that's the guy who played Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore. So, but uh, but yeah, Victor Ortiz, he was in it, and like I said, I think he had like one line. So yeah, let me see what other movies has Victor Ortiz been in. See, like mugshot. Yeah, because Victor Ortiz has been in some trouble. I think most of us know about that. Yeah, Expendables 3, Southpaw, which y'all know I actually have never seen Southpaw. I've always wanted to watch it, and I just never got around to it. But he's in Southpaw, Once Upon a Time in Venice. Enter fist and enter the fist and the golden fleece, whatever that is. Perfect. Avenge the crows. Gonzo, the life and work of Dr. Hunter S. Thompson. Why the fuck would he be in that? Like, it looks like it's a documentary of some sort. Yeah. His filmography is a little bit more extensive than I actually thought it was. All right. Probably not going to be on much longer. Waller will never face White. I don't think he will either, to be honest. Wilder and his LWC fans have zero class, so I'm never rooting for that guy. Yes, I had some Chisora ahead. But yeah, do apologize for that. I don't know what happened. I was like talking, and like when I get on a thought, what I do is I stop looking at the chat and I'm just talking. So that's what happened. I got into that mode, and when I looked down, I noticed that I wasn't even in the live. I was out of the live. So I don't know what happened there. StreamYard is funky sometimes, but to be honest, I rather use it over the alternatives. Um, I've done the PlayStation thing sometimes, and I'll still use that from time to time. It didn't feel like going through the setup because that takes a little bit of setup to do. Um, so, but other than that, I don't really like any of the other options. Restream is okay. I just need to get access to it again. I haven't had access to my Restream for like a year. And I've actually seen some other channels start using Restream. But then there's also another one called Melon, which I thought was going to be the best one because it was, shout out to Tommy Temper. He's the one who told me about Melon. It was developed by the same people I think who developed OBS, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't like Melon. Melon actually eats through your battery worse than StreamYard. And the other thing about Melon is that it also overheats your device more than StreamYard does. And I learned that from experience because I've only done one live on Melon on my channel. But I did join somebody else's live who was using Melon, and I couldn't even stay in the live because my phone kept overheating. So I'm not a big fan of Melon. The I'm sure on a laptop or PC, Melon is probably great. But if you're somebody like me who does everything mobile, I want to be able to. If I need to go to the grocery store, I want to go to the grocery store. Like I'm not trying to do like a legit podcast. Not saying I'm not open to it, but that's not what I do right now. So if I want to go to the grocery store or run to the store or do anything where I'm not gonna be able to just stay at a computer, I need to be able to do it through my phone. So I'm not a big fan of Melon. The one I honestly thought that was gonna be my favorite one once I got to use it, and it's actually become my least favorite one. Like I put StreamYard, Restream, PlayStation. I put them all over Melon. So just warning you, if you ever are joining a panel and they're using Melon, be prepared to have not be able to use your phone very soon because that shit will eat your battery. All right, let me take a look at some more of these comments real quick. Wait for this, but then pass the boxing movie. No, did Malik Scott take a dive versus Wilder? A lot of people feel that he did, just because of the type of punch that landed, how long the fight lasted. Um, Malik Scott, if I'm not mistaken, he showed up to the face off wearing like a bag on his head. It said something like "Bring your popcorn," like he was really selling it. Um, and then the fight, if I'm not mistaken, the fight lasted 90 seconds. It lasted a minute and a half into the first round. It happened in Puerto Rico because Wilder was actually on the undercard of Danny Garcia. It was the same day that Danny Garcia fought Mauricio Herrera. So I remember that, I remember seeing that fight, seeing that card, but yeah. So fun fact, Wilder used to be on undercards for Danny Garcia. Well, at least one undercard. Yeah, and I don't remember. I'll have to go and watch it again to because I don't remember how the commentators were commentating that. To be honest, oh, Vinny Paisianza. I have to look that up. I also have to watch Southpaw at some point because I've never seen it. I did see Hands of Stone, which is funny because when I first heard that that Usher was going to be playing Sugar Ray Leonard, I assumed it was going to be in a Sugar Ray Leonard movie. So when I heard about Hands of Stone, I don't think I watched a whole lot of trailers. So when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, this is the movie that Usher was filming. So yeah, just I thought that was interesting. Another thing, Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Mike Tyson in a Mike Tyson movie. He's been talking about it for years, and it's still like, is if any of y'all know, is that like canceled or what's going on with that? Because I haven't heard nothing about that in the longest. Now I do know that there was a Mike Tyson movie already starring Michael Jai White. I did watch that movie. Um, it was all right. It was kind of like akin to like watching like a cable channels movie, like a movie that was made by a cable channel. It wasn't like it. I don't think it had like a theatrical release. That's what I'm trying to say. And if it did, I would be shocked because the quality just wasn't up to snuff, in my opinion. Not for that time frame, and that came out like in the '90s. What up, that guy? Single melon is never a good thing. Yeah, that's just the name of it. So hold on, let me see real quick. Because I'm legitimately interested to see if this movie is happening. Jamie Foxx is set to portray Mike Tyson in a limited series called Tyson. Previously, the biopic on a former heavyweight champion was titled Finding Mike, which was also expected to be a full-length feature film. The new director and Antoine Fuqua will also executive produce Tyson. So now it's going to be a series as opposed to a movie. I don't know about that. I was looking forward to a movie. I'll still watch it, but I have to say this makes it significantly less exciting. Because here's the thing: when it comes to a series, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait till the whole series is released. So I'm not gonna watch it when they air. It doesn't say like if it's Netflix or if it's on Fox or whatever. I'm hoping it's on a streaming service because that means they could do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about the FCC. Um, but if it is like on network television, unless it's like on HBO, then there's gonna be some limitations. Which I don't like limitations. So yeah, this makes it significantly less exciting. I don't know who this Fuqua is, and to be honest, I don't really care. As long as he does a good job, that's what I care about. But I was noticeably more excited when this was supposed to be a movie as opposed to a show. So now who knows? Like it could be great. I'm really hoping it's like on HBO Max. If it's on Netflix, I'm cool with that too. But I do not want it on network television. Um, I'm, but hopefully, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's HBO Max because HBO Max. If it's an HBO Max, I'll still be very excited for it. It just I'm just gonna wait till the whole thing is available. Which actually, I think HBO Max does it. I don't think they do like the Disney Plus thing where they release an episode every week. I think they actually release a whole series at once, which I'll be cool with because then I can binge it, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Because the only shows that I don't mind waiting a week in between are anthologies. So obviously, this is a show about Mike Tyson. It's not gonna be an anthology, so yeah, I'm kind of disappointed to be honest. Yeah, yeah. Jamie Foxx is supposed to play Mike Tyson um in a show um titled Tyson. Originally it was supposed to be a movie though, and actually, because he's been talking about this for years, James Jameson. If you look up Jamie Foxx, Mike Tyson in on YouTube, you'll find interviews that he's done years ago talking about this movie, which is now going to be a show. It's not going to be a series. So we'll see. Also, I don't like series that are like really too long, unless it's an anthology. Once again, then I don't mind it. But if it's like a continuous story, I don't like when it just goes on forever and ever and ever. Um, because then they like tend to overstay their welcome. I don't even care if there's like a whole bunch of seasons. I don't like the seasons to be like too ridiculously long. Like I used to watch a lot of SVU, but SVU seasons go on and on and on and on. It's like I still like SVU. I just don't watch it like I used to. I find myself more into shows like Stranger Things because Stranger Things will have like 6 to 8 episodes in a season. each episode being somewhere around like 42 minutes, and I'm cool with that. There's a show on um, on Amazon Prime. It's called Them, and that was like the same thing. That one was like somewhere between 8 to 10 episodes, and the same thing. Like each episode is around 42 minutes. That's actually a really good show. I don't hear anybody talk about that show, and in my opinion, it was pretty good. If you get triggered by certain things though, that might be the reason why it because racism is a very big part of that show because it takes place not in our era, but the era, it actually takes place during the time where a lot of African Americans were migrating to the West, uh, because if I'm not mistaken, the government like was like promising land and stuff. They were like trying to push for people to move out west, and a lot of African Americans ended up moving to the West. And the name of that show is Them. Like I said, if racism is like a touchy subject for you, then you may want to check out a trailer and maybe some reviews before you watch that show. It's not for everybody. But if you can stomach that stuff, it's a really good show. Definitely will make you feel some things. and I have a pretty strong will, I guess is the best way I could put it. Um, there was one point where I had to kind of take a break because it was legitimately pissing me off. So I had to take a little bit of a break, but that it's a good show. It's a good show. Seems too slim for Tyson. I thought the same thing, but when I just looked it up, I saw some pictures, and don't get me wrong, he's still not the same stature, but he's closer than what I thought he would be. So Jimmy Fox, man, I mean, in his age, he's he's in good shape. Took you the crib. I'm not familiar with that. I'll look it up though. I'm not gonna look it up right now, but I'm gonna look it up. Just a moment. Just reading up on some of these comments, see if there's anything that I want to touch on. But yeah, I think I'm done. I think I've talked enough about Anthony Joshua and everything. So I do appreciate everybody coming to the live. I am gonna leave it with something. Just give me a moment. Let's give me a second. Since we were talking about some of these interviews, I'm gonna play a little bit of one of my favorites. Like, no lie, legit. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, this is not a joke. If I'm having a bad day, sometimes I will listen to. Hold on. This ain't the one. This is a bunch of them put together. All right, I think I just found it. This is one of my favorite post-fight interviews. Wait, not this ain't it either. I'm sure most of y'all heard it. Hold on. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure everybody's heard this one before, but I'm gonna still play it because I love this interview so much. It's one of my favorites. Um, here we go. Here we go.
Were you simply just too quick and too fast for Evander Holyfield?
I'm too quick and too fast for anybody to been around with me as a heavyweight. That's about the line. You know, Jim, I don't know why you come up here. Don't come up here and try to give me no badass questions, try to degrade me. I want to thank the God, thank you, never still.
Question's legitimate. Were you too quick?
Evander Holyfield was a great fighter. Don't diminish that at any time. Holyfield's a great warrior. He came to fight. Bottom line.
Did he ever hurt
next? I got milk, baby.
Did he ever hurt you at any point tonight?
Scott. No, he never hurt me, man. I'm indestructible. Don't forget that when I'm ready, I'm indestructible, baby. I'll fight anybody out there anywhere, anytime. Next! Who's next? Hey, my talent speaks for itself. I ain't got to answer nobody else's question. I'm going home. We're going to have a party. Oh, we're going to have a party. Everybody down to me. If they don't want to respect me, fuck them. You got to.
Let's try and have.
You know it.
Let's try and have a decent interview and a conversation. Hold on a second here.
I love that interview. All right. Y'all have a good day. Y'all take it easy. Peace.